Hello, friends! Sleep Tight Stories is now available on Story Button, the device that makes it easy for kids to listen to podcasts without using a screened device. Story Button connects to Wi-Fi so that all our episodes are automatically available on Story Button. Click the link in our show notes to get free shipping or learn more at storybutton.com. Thank you. Hello, friends, and welcome to Sleep Tight Stories. Madeline the Monkey is waiting for the bestest time of the day. Story time. Papa Bear is getting ready to tell Bernice her bedtime story, and Madeline is all tucked in and ready. When Papa Bear is finished, Madeline isn't ready for sleep yet, so she starts thinking about what she could do for Bernice. Madeline the Monkey wants to do something nice. It was that time again, the bestest time of the day. It took a lot of patience to wait and wait and wait. But every night at this time, it was super worth it. Because it was that time. The time when Madeline got cozy and warm and listened to a story with her most favorite friend in the whole wide world, Bernice. During the day, Madeline would swing, jump, and run around the house, but not too loudly because she didn't want to disturb Papa Bear. This was fun. The house she lived in was nice, with many places to jump and swing from, and it was always warm, even when the ground was covered in pretty white snow. But it was nighttime that Madeline truly lived for. Madeline was a stuffed monkey and was one of Bernice's most trusted bedtime friends. At least, that's what Bernice told them. And of course, Madeline believed her. Their friendship was as strong as the moonlight that peeks through the curtains each night at story time. Bernice had great taste, as her room was full of soft pillows and fluffy blankets that enveloped the room. Sometimes, Madeline loved to bounce off or lay on them to have a super comfy nap. The walls were full of colorful posters of jungles, enchanted castles, dinosaurs, science stuff, and faraway galaxies, helping to fuel Madeline's imagination as she cuddled close to Bernice. There was also lots of science stuff on Bernice's large desk. There was a microscope, glass bottles full of different colored liquids, and other things Madeline didn't yet understand. Bernice was going to be a famous scientist one day. Madeline knew it. It was that time. The time she heard Bernice say, "It's that time, Papa," and for Papa Bear to say, "And what time is that, little bear?" The conversation always ended the same, with Papa Bear telling a story. Now the lights were being turned down low, and Papa Bear came to the side of Bernice's bed. Sometimes he sits on the floor, sometimes in a chair, or even on the side of the bed. Madeline was getting super excited because she knew another super adventure with Boo Boo, Kai Kai, or so many other stories would unfold. Squeezed tight against Bernice, she listens. Once upon a time, in a world full of magic and fun, there lived a brave little bear named Boo Boo. She lived in a large castle at the edge of a mystical forest. In this forest were unicorns, fairies, gnomes, and all manner of insects, birds, and animals. It was a wonderful place. Her best friend was a young dragon called Kai Kai, and they liked to play as much as they could. The kingdom they lived in was full of people who lived in the meadows, those who lived in the hills, and those who lived in the forest. And they all lived in harmony. On this day, Boo Boo and Kai Kai were walking back through the mystical forest after listening to Bixie's story about the old academy. Bixie's stories are always interesting, Boo Boo said, trying to keep up with Kai Kai's huge steps. I appreciate his storytelling and our extra classes with him, but I would like to hear more exciting stories. Something with fast dragons, or giant sea monsters from the fishing villages, or maybe a chocolate tree that was growing out of control until a large dragon came and ate its branches, Kai Kai said. Let me guess who that dragon eating the chocolate tree would be, Boo Boo said with a laugh. I don't know, but it's the kind of adventure I would love. I could be a hero if it meant eating lots of chocolate. I'm sure you could, but you have helped lots of people, even without chocolate. We both try to help as much as we can, Boo Boo. The old academy sounds stuffy, Kai Kai said. Yes, maybe a little bit. I like learning outside more than in a stuffy classroom. I've done some reading, and in the time before the old academy, our kingdom wasn't as magical a place as it is now. And I heard from some travelers that many far-off places are still the same, with far less good fairy magic than what we enjoy today. We are very lucky. Far fewer chocolate treats, too, I would guess, Kai Kai said, because, as usual, most conversations with Kai Kai always included food. I think the only unfortunate aspect of our school these days is that you dragons have your own school now. What fun we could have if we both went to the same school. I agree, as long as I didn't have to sit in those tiny desks you have to use. I might have a hard time fitting into those. That would be very funny, seeing you stuffed inside a small-sized desk, Boo Boo said, laughing. The unicorns have their own school, too, Kai Kai replied. Yes, and some fairies have their own as well. I think that is one of the reasons that Bixie still teaches outside his cottage in the mystical forest, so that all of us get to be together, learning from him and each other. True, I wouldn't have met you or Bluebell if it were not for Bixie. And you wouldn't get to slow down and walk through the forest and see all the beautiful flowers that line the known paths. The forest and the meadows smell nice this time of year. Yes, they do. But speaking of things that smell nice, are we still going to get ice cream? Oh, Kai Kai. Yes, I would love to get some. Are we returning to the place we went before with the chocolate tree? I mean, you have mentioned chocolate trees twice now, so it must be on your mind. Yes, let's visit Cocoa Fairy again. It's one of my favorite places, Kai Kai said, as they came to a clearing in the forest full of blue, purple, and pink flowers. Cocoa Fairy it is. I don't suppose we could fly there. It's a long walk, I think, Boo Boo said with a smirk. That's a great idea. Hop on. Kai spread his wings, took to the air with Boo Boo on his back, and they flew off to have ice cream at their favorite treats shop, the Cocoa Fairy. Madeline watched with one eye closed so that Papa Bear wouldn't know she was still awake as he tucked her, Twigga, Wolfie, and Bernice tight under the covers. He gave each and every one a kiss on the forehead, said goodnight, and turned out the light as he left the room. Bernice was fast asleep. "Twigga, are you asleep?" Madeline whispered. Twigga was asleep. "Wolfie," Madeline whispered, "are you asleep?" Wolfie was asleep too. Madeline wasn't ready to sleep just yet. This happened sometimes when she was thinking about one of the stories that Papa Bear told. She would want to think about how fun riding on the back of a dragon would be, or to visit the mystical forest. Sometimes she would make up stories until she let out a great big yawn and fell into a deep sleep. But tonight, as Madeline lay quietly beside Bernice, she thought about how nice Bernice always was to her. She always gave her hugs, talked to her, and whenever she was doing science experiments, she would always share with her and Twigga and Wolfie the experiments. When she was sad, she would share with her what made her sad. And when she was happy, she would do the same. She was a super friend. And since Bernice was always so nice, she thought she could do something nice for her, something big and fancy. Maybe I could create a card for Bernice. I could decorate it with glitter, stickers, and drawings, and express my appreciation for our friendship. That might be a good idea, she thought, but it doesn't sound so fancy. Madeline thought a bit more. I know. I could wake up early and prepare a delicious breakfast for Bernice. I could make her favorite fruits, pancakes, and a cup of hot cocoa with a marshmallow smiley face. That would be good. She would appreciate that, I think. But the only problem was Papa Bear was always in the kitchen, and he might spoil the surprise if he saw me. So that wouldn't work. Or I could bake cookies for her. She loves cookies, and she sometimes shares her cookies with us. But that's Papa Bear's treat, and I don't know how to bake cookies anyway, so that won't work either. She thought, and she thought, and she thought. I know. I could book us a trip to a science museum in New York, or maybe one in Paris. I'm sure they have one in those places. And we could go to a famous cookie bakery while we are visiting. I'm sure big cities like New York and Paris have places that bake cookies. They might not be as good as Papa Bear's, but they might be good enough. Then she thought, but I don't actually have any money, so that won't work either. I think I am all out of ideas. Then a thought occurred to Madeline. Maybe the best thing I can do is what we've always done for each other. Be there as her bestest friend. She looked at Bernice, fast asleep, and smiled. She realized that their friendship was the most super wonderful gift that she could give. Friends don't need their friends to give them big fancy things or big surprises. They just need them to do what they always did. Be there for each other. You're my bestest friend, Bernice, Madeline whispered softly. Madeline snuggled closer to Bernice, feeling grateful for her friendship. Even though she was asleep, Madeline knew she understood deep inside, too. And so, Madeline closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of their friendship surrounding her. In that quiet moment, she knew that their being there for each other was the most special thing anyone could do. And it made their friendship even more special. And that is the end of this story. Good night. Sleep tight.